good evening. We're dwindling, aren't we? We need to do a membership drive. Have to do some flyers. I'll go out in the street, collar people. Although in this state, I'm probably not a very good advertisement, am I? Come to Mindfulnees Group.
Get a cold.
Get a cold. Be ill. So our topic for this evening is embarrassment. And I decided upon embarrassment yesterday because yesterday was my daughter's birthday and I was in embarrassing dad mode. And we'd been singing at home, and my wife had started off by singing "It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To," that classic 1980s hit that we all know, love and remember. And then we remembered the other 80s classic, Happy Birthday, Happy Birthday. So we were singing that, and we put the video up on YouTube along with all the embarrassing 80s dancing with the arms going. And I told my daughter that, because she had to go to school yesterday on her birthday, I was going to come into the lesson and sing to her in the class, in front of all her friends, and do the best 80s moves. And she was mortified.
Poor little thing.
and was pleading with me not to put her through that. So I didn't, but I did prime her teacher and say to her, I'll threaten to do this, so you've got to go along with it. So I know that the teacher had said to her, "Oh, it's 11 o'clock, you know, I'll be coming in a minute." And apparently she did go a particular shade of scarlet at that point. But it reminded me of my own childhood, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But we'll do a little exercise first, and then I'll talk more about embarrassment. Please don't die now. Okay, so begin by having a look around, seeing what you can see. Engage your sense of sight. And once you've had a look around, you may close your eyes and bring your attention to the weight of your body sat in the chair, your back pressing against the back of the chair, gravity pulling down on the shoulders, down through the arms, aware of the position of your arms. Aware of your bottom and legs in contact with the seat and gravity pulling down into the seat. Aware of your legs, the position of your legs down to your feet in contact with the floor. Aware of the clothes against your skin. Aware of the movement of air on your hands and face. And then take a breath through the nose and just be aware of smell. And aware of the taste in your mouth. finally aware of sound. And for the next few moments we just allow sound to happen, and if our mind wanders we bring it back to sound. Becoming aware of the silence out of which sound emerges and returns, and the silence that underpins all sound. Good. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. So yes, embarrassing dads. So I was reminded of my own childhood, because my dad was the undisputed king of embarrassing dads. He was in a league of his own. And the one particular instance that I shall share with you, that I will never forget, I would have been, how old was I? Probably about 9 or 10 years old. And we were on a family holiday in Wales, and it was a farm, and they'd converted the cow sheds into this holiday accommodation. So there was the big farmhouse, the yard in the middle. Down one side were these cow sheds that were the holiday accommodation. Very nice, it was lovely. And then on the other side there was the barn that they'd converted into like the restauranty bit and the clubhouse thing, I suppose. And so we would go across to the barn in the evening to have something to eat, and they had a little stage area and a dance floor area. And the son of the farmer who owned the place would sort of do a bit of a disco thing some evenings. So one evening, early evening, we were in there having our dinner, and this lad's up on the stage sorting out his disco gear, working out a few records and stuff like that. And there's a load of families sitting around eating. And we'd finished our dinner, and my dad just turned to me and he said, "I'm going to have a dance, come on kiddo." And he dragged me up, walked across. He walked up to this guy that was the DJ and said, put something on, have you got this, have you got that? So this guy puts a record on and starts playing some music. And my dad just starts dancing on his own, on this dance floor, entirely on his own, with all these families eating their dinner. And he's proper going for it. He's proper going for it. And he's like, come on, Dad's going to join in. I'm like, no, I'm not joining in. And he did not care. He just didn't give two hoots. He didn't care what these, he just thought, I want to have a bit of a boogie, get down. And he did. And he just went for it. And he probably had about 10-15 minutes on his own, on the dance floor, throwing his shapes, and then he went, right, that'll do then. And off we went. And that stayed with me. It's always stayed with me. And kind of, I suppose at the time I was mortified because I was 10, and this was my dad being proper embarrassing. And then as I got older, I just had the absolute utmost respect for his balls, really. The fact that it was, you know, he just didn't care.
Well, what other people thought.
That's it, he just didn't give a monkeys. And if he didn't care what they thought, and I think his thinking was, well, if they get a giggle out of it, then good for them.
Yeah.
I'm doing my thing and I'm enjoying myself. And so that certainly is something that stayed with me. And that came back to me again yesterday, thinking about embarrassing dads. And then I started thinking about embarrassment. And thinking about the mindful aspect to it. Because I suppose that's why it stayed with me. There's lots of things that have happened throughout my life which have had an impact upon my own mindful practice, thoughts, beliefs, whatever. And that is one of them. That is one of them. Because that it comes down to, an embarrassment comes down to judgments, doesn't it?
Mm.
You only feel embarrassed. Yeah, well, you feel embarrassed because of your concern for the judgments that other people are making. And then you yourself, in turn, make a judgment about those judgments.
Mm.
So there's a sort of a
so it's really
an
irrational
fear. That's it. There's a doubling up of judgment happening that causes you to feel embarrassment.
And there's a bit of fear of rejection.
And then there's a bit of fear comes into it because you're worried about making yourself look stupid. You're worried about you have this fear that you'll be rejected. This fear that people will have a negative impression of you. They'll have a negative judgment of you and your actions. And it's a very unmindful way of being because it's all upon assumptions. It's all based upon assumptions, judgments, fears, a projection into the future. Or they're going to think this, they're going to think that. It's that desire to exert some kind of control.
Is it the ego protecting itself?
Exactly, the ego kicks in, and we've talked a lot about the ego in the past, and that's probably the primary function.
Yeah.
That's the element of your being that feels most exposed and vulnerable. I mean, maybe, I suppose, going back to that story about my dad, maybe it was his ego
got him out in the first
that
place.
got him out there in the first place. I'm a bit of a showman. But I don't know. Having known the man, he wasn't.
Really
He wasn't an ego. He was a bit of a show off, but he wasn't.
Sounds more like he was just have fun.
He did, yeah, exactly. That's it. He wasn't a show off. He was a larger than life personality. But all he ever wanted to do was enjoy himself, and for other people to enjoy themselves as well, and be a bit of a clown.
Was he a good dancer?
No.
Yeah, he wanted to have fun.
He was a dad.
My gran and granddad used to do like dancing. They used to teach people to dance as well.
Right.
They were quite proficient.
No, he was
no hesitation at being the first up.
He was no John Travolta.
No, right.
Perhaps in his own mind, perhaps in his own mind, he'd got the white suit on and he was sharp as. So, with all of that considered, if we then introduce mindfulness and we are mindful, and as we spoke about over the last couple of weeks, when you are mindful and you are able to suspend thought, sort of remove all those thoughts and ideas, then a lot of that negative stuff disappears. Fear disappears, because fear is just a thought. Those judgments disappear. So judgments are just thoughts. So if you particularly go into a very mindful state and all of that stuff gets suspended and removed, then there's no embarrassment at all. So it may be that, as I said, that I took a lesson from that experience I had. So maybe that's directly what it was. That was a lesson in pure mindfulness. That was my dad just being absolutely in the moment. Responding to a situation, okay, there's an opportunity here for me to be in the moment and just enjoy myself and suspend all thought, suspend all judgment, and who gives a monkeys what anybody else thinks, because I have no thought about it myself. And all embarrassment disappears and falls away.
I had a funny event today. A bunch of my colleagues went into a meeting. I wasn't involved in the meeting, and when they come out, two of them sat around my desk, stood around my desk, and they were talking to me. And they said, "Your name came up in the meeting that you'd done a really good job. One of the project managers had, blown my trumpet, And I remembered, and the feeling I got was like, oh, okay, I did all right, yeah, great, but can we not talk about it? It was like I was embarrassed by, what do you call it? Yeah, embarrassed
by the praise.
Yeah, which means I'm not good at accepting praise, But I sort of try to play it down, like, oh yeah, okay, no problem, sort of thing. Trying to be cool, but not really.
But that's it, I suppose that's it as well, isn't it? We can become embarrassed by, it's not just about being in those awkward, negative situations. When it gets flipped round, we don't like to accept. It's an acceptance thing, isn't it?
Puts you kind of above. You don't want to be above somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I suppose
peers.
It's an interesting point, because we've talked a lot in the past about acceptance and the fact that it's important to be able to accept whatever any given situation presents you with. And embarrassment is, whether it's a mechanism that we employ or it's a side effect of not being able to accept those situations, isn't it? So if it's a negative situation, we become embarrassed.
Your dad wasn't embarrassed, you were embarrassed.
Well, that's it, exactly. I was. Because I struggled to accept this middle-aged man. Actually, he wouldn't have been middle-aged, he wouldn't have been that old. But, I struggled to accept that situation. But similarly, there's that situation where somebody's offering praise and you find it difficult to accept that was being heaped upon you. And so the consequence of that was this feeling of embarrassment. So embarrassment is what we feel when we struggle to accept. It's just another one of those negative, if we can't accept what's happening, we may feel fearful. If we can't accept what's happening, we may feel angry. If we struggle to accept what's happening, we may feel anxious and stressed, or we may feel embarrassed. So it can become heaped in that pot of negative traits, negative behaviours.
Face, which is kind of like embarrassment. You can give somebody face by what they did to me today. They praised me up. And in China, that's a good thing. You know, if you praise somebody up, they feel good about themselves, and they milk it. You can buy face by giving them a gift, you know, and then they're sort of owing to you.
Yeah.
You can lose face, which is embarrassment, I think, really. It's where you do something wrong and you get caught out. And what I've learned from that is, you know, if my daughters do something wrong, I take them apart from the family and I get them on their own, one-on-one, and I just do the discussion away from them so they don't lose face by that, you know. I think that's true also in a business environment. You know, you want to give somebody bollocking, you shouldn't really in front of everybody,
yeah,
but
exactly.
a lot of managers do.
Oh, the bad ones do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of a spin on it. Yeah.
Interesting. So, the lesson from today is there is no need for any embarrassment in any shape or form. And if you feel embarrassment creeping in, be mindful and the embarrassment will disappear. And you can dance on your own.
It's like the Dalai Lama sometimes makes little jokes about gas, doesn't he? Something that most people
About gas?
Gas, yeah, farts.
Yeah.
Like most people, that sort of thing, if you know, if they drop one or something like that, that's like really like, oh my God, really embarrassing, what have you, but he finds that really very funny. He goes, ha ha ha, yeah, gas.
Well, I was just actually, that reminded me, I thought of it a little earlier, and I wasn't sure whether it was relevant, but it is now. Because there's the video that has frequently featured on various Facebook pages and on YouTube. And I think there's probably just various variations on it, some staged, some less so. But the one in particular was there's a husband, and he sets the video up, and he opens the door, and his wife is there at the door, and he says, "Oh honey, I've got a surprise for you," and he blindfolds her, brings her into the house, places her in the middle of the room, and says, "Wait there, I'm going to go and get the surprise. Don't take the blindfold off. I'll be back in a minute." So he goes off. And of course she's standing there with the blindfold on. And then you can see, because you've got the camera's eye view, that the room is filled with all of her friends and family that are about to surprise her when she takes off the blindfold. She doesn't know this. She thinks she's standing in the living room all on her own while her husband's gone off to fetch a present, and she lets one go really loud, standing there on her own in the middle of the room. Like and then as you can see people stifling the old laugh, and then the husband comes out and removes the blindfold, and everybody just goes. And she just goes, "Oh my."
That's so funny.
It is funny. It is very funny. But that's it. You know, she wasn't able to accept that situation. You know, she let one go. We all do it. We just don't do it.
If they were mindful, they would have just laughed straight away. Should have kept the blindfold on.
I think I would have. Yeah, I think I would have struggled to maintain silence.
I've seen that. Yeah.
That was good.
Right. Let's breathe. I'll get the bottle. Okay, you may close your eyes if you wish. And bring your awareness to your breath. And moment by moment be aware of those three components. Aware of breathing in, of breathing out, and of the pause between breaths. And as I invite the bowl to sound, you just maintain awareness of each of those aspects of your breath as they happen. moment by moment. At this moment, all awareness is focused entirely on the breath and nothing else. Following the movement of air and the movement of your body as you breathe in, breathe out, and then experience that moment of stillness between the breath. Everything is at peace and you're just being. Breathe in and feel alive, and we breathe out and release ourselves to the present moment. Breathe in and feel alive, breathe out and release to the present moment, and then fully experience awareness of the present moment in the pause between breaths. And through that out breath you can continue to release all thoughts, release all judgments, release all fear. And just experience purely being. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. That feels better. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.